Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Angels, Fairies, and Witches. I'm your host, Michelle, and I'd like to thank you for once again inviting me into your home for this half hour. Today's topic is going to be on the angels. Now, people are always very surprised when they find out that I'm a witch and that I not only believe in angels, but I work very closely with them. They're also surprised to know that I believe in God, and they're surprised by a lot of things about me. When Laura and I started doing the TV show, we decided to start with angels because A, it comes up first in our title, but we also picked that because people universally know, love, and believe in angels. Other things are a little out of the box, if you will. So we're going to get back on the topic of angels because I have about 6 of them I would like to discuss with you. And I was looking down because I actually have pictures as well to go along with it. So let's start with, in all the major religions, they always have the same 4 angels. Catholics would call them archangels. I believe, what is that religion? Muslim, I think. They're known as the warrior, the protector angels, things of that nature. But anyway, it's always the same 4. Also in the Jewish faith, in most of Christianity, it is Archangel Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and then either Uriel or Ariel. I actually know them as 2 separate angels, but a lot of the religions kind of lump them together. So let's begin with Archangel Michael, top guy for everybody. He is a warrior angel. He is a protector. He keeps us safe from all sorts of lower energies. You can call on him at any time if you're sending your children to school and you want a little extra protection from bullies, mean teachers, those lovely childhood stomach viruses that go throughout the building this time of year particularly. Any form of protection, you want to call upon Michael. He's also the patron saint of police officers. He's very good at his job. I'm going to show you a hunky picture. Maybe this is not how you envision Archangel Michael, but believe me, it's how I envision him. You getting that shot? Look at the biceps. Wow. Michael is known for carrying his fiery sword. When he call upon him, you will automatically feel sort of a warm energy coming your way. This is when you know that he's right next to you and protecting you. There's no special ritual involved. You just, Michael, need your help. Protect me, protect my kids, protect my home, protect my cats, of which I have many. Protect my possessions. If you know that he's beside you or beside your loved ones, there is absolutely no harm can come to you. You need to believe in his full protection because his protection is powerful and infinite. Next one on the chopping block is Archangel Raphael. He is predominantly in charge of healing and health. And he works with people in 2 different ways. First, he will try to encourage you to live a healthier lifestyle. And we all have our vices. You know, some people like sweets. Some people like food. Some people like cigarettes. Some people like alcohol. Obviously not Mayor Bloomberg. He doesn't seem to like any of these things. So Archangel Raphael will work with you in terms of getting yourself in a healthier state. He can also call upon him, though, to act in a healing manner. Now, this can take on a lot of different forms. If you've been having a really bad headache or something for a long time, call upon him, ask him to, now you have to believe this in order for it to work, obviously. Call upon him to relieve your headache. Picture him coming around and placing his hands, we'll use the pumpkin as an example, and placing his hands on your head, and the pain just seeps right out of you, okay? His intervention might also be in the form of leading you to a correct physician, or what I've known him to do in certain capacities, if people are on too much medication, and let's face it, this is sort of the way of the world these days, he may lead you to find more homeopathic, natural treatments. So here's a picture of Archangel Raphael. In case you see my hand shaking, it's not my cameraman, it's the fact that I haven't eaten and it's already almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's why. Okay, so this is Archangel Raphael. And again, there's crystals that you can also carry around that correspond with the angels. In the case of Archangel Michael, his crystal is sugarlight, which is a blue stone. That would have been helpful if I thought to bring the crystals downstairs from my bedroom. All right, well, I'm just going to describe. His is a blue stone with sort of white running through it. And Archangel Raphael is any kind of green stone. It could be an emerald if you're lucky enough to have those. Otherwise, there's another one called a malachite. It's a deep green, okay? The next angel we're going to talk about is Archangel Gabriel. Now, Gabriel is the only one of the angels in all the religions that is sometimes portrayed as male and sometimes as female. Well, cross-dressing angel happening there. Gabriel is always known as the messenger. When you receive certain divine guidance in the form of messages, that's Gabriel. Gabriel also is known to herald the news of a new birth, always bringing news. That's the messenger angel. More than that, she's also in charge of leadership ability and in charge of looking out for children, okay? Leadership ability, I like to look at her as female. Man, that's a little sexist on my part, you know, get her into the boys' club, if you will. And so naturally the picture I'm going to show you is Gabriel in female form. Leadership ability in terms of she gives you sort of the courage to go and lead, not be a follower. It could even be as simple as just, you know, having the confidence to walk to the beat of your own drum. That kind of leadership. In terms of children, she watches over children, but she also teaches you how to nurture your own, and I know this sounds so hokey, but inner child. But it's true. She teaches you how to nurture yourself so that you can go on to nurture others. And here is Gabriel. Nice, huh? I actually have a dress that looks like that. I don't have the wings, of course, witches rarely do. So that's Gabriel. Next one I would like to talk about is, you know what? I had them in a tiny bit of wrong order. Sorry. Is Raziel. Raziel's name, and I think I've mentioned this before, if you notice with all the angels, their names either end in I-E-L, E-L, or A-E-L. The suffix E-L or any of these means of the light, being of the light, person of light. So that's why you have Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, Raziel, Jeremiel, Jophiel, Azrael, Ariel. It goes on and on and on. There's really millions of angels out there, but I said those are the top 4 that are usually recognized. So here's the last of the 4. Remember I said in some religions, if it's a he, it's Uriel, and if it's a she, it's Ariel. But they really stand for the same things. Okay, Ariel is, oh goodness, screwing it up. I was going to talk about Raziel. Raziel, his name means secrets of God. Raziel helps you with things like clairaudience, claircognizance. These are, I've spoken about this, clairaudience is when you're able to hear messages from the other side, from the deceased or angels or goddesses or whatever you like to believe in. Clairvoyance is when you can see them. Claircognizance is that inner knowing. And clairsentience is gut feelings, mother's instinct, things of that nature. So one of Raziel's chief purposes, in addition to teaching you how to hone these magical skills, which are gifts that come from God, is to take back your power. If you've been in an abusive relationship, if you have a mean boss, if people don't treat you well, if you don't have self-confidence, Raziel's chief position is to teach you how to take back your power. And here is a picture of Raziel. Looking a little like Father Time there, I think, but he's in charge of also of alchemy. Now, alchemy, let me just spend a brief minute explaining. An alchemist is somebody that would be able to take base metals and turn them into gold. So it kind of has the sound of like a magician. But really, alchemy is also, I've talked about this in other episodes, there was that book that was written years ago called The Secret, Power of Intention, Power of Thought. That's what Raziel will work with you. Things that you want to bring into your life, you call upon him, and he'll help guide you and give you the right words to bring your own power back. And power is a scary word because sometimes people think if you're in power, you're a jerk. And unfortunately, what happens is a lot of people in power are jerks, but don't get me started. Don't want any lawsuits at angels, fairies, and witches. But you all know who you are out there. Anyway, power can be an amazing thing. If you've been given a position of power where you can influence and help a lot of people, the law of karma is as follows. You better be using that power wisely. Otherwise, you're in for a fall. Just saying. The next angel we have is Ariel. And again, this was the Ariel Uriel thing that I was talking about a few minutes ago. Ariel's, she's very much in charge of animals and plant life. In fact, she's always depicted as sort of having lioness qualities. Not like a head of a lion exactly, but she's always kind of, looking very tribal. I am woman, hear me roar, that kind of thing. Hear me roar like a lion. Wow. See what I did there? Okay, so anyway, Ariel will give you courage if you call upon her. And like I said back when I was talking about Michael, just call upon the angel. It doesn't have to be any more ritualistic than that. And by the way, because I get asked this question a lot, if you call upon the wrong angel, the right one always shows up, so don't even worry about it. So when you feel like you need some courage, let's say you're going to go in and ask for a raise, or let's say you're going to ask that person out and you're, shaking in your boots, call upon Ariel and she will fill you with confidence. Not cockiness, not arrogance, not stupidity, confidence, self-confidence. And here's a picture of her, looking very tribal. And see, there's lions in the background. Lions and tigers and Ariel. Oh my. Okay, that's Ariel. The next one, and you can look up all of these angels on the internet, libraries. Do people even go to libraries anymore? I do. The next one is Haniel. Haniel is a beautiful angel, as you will see in a moment. Haniel is in charge of, men can call on her too, but she's always kind of have the women more in, in her jurisdiction, something like that. Okay, Ariel is in charge of two things primarily. One is moon cycles. Some people believe that the moon is the female and the sun is male, and other people believe that the moon's name is Celine. I don't know where they came up with that, but I think it's pretty. Not like Celine Dion. Oh, well, she's pretty too. Didn't mean that, Celine. Anyway, back on the topic. Haniel is in charge of moon cycles. As you know, our bodies are something like, see, this is where having Laura on the show would have been handy because she knows all these statistics, boring as though they are. But I think our bodies are like 95% water. I think mine is about 50% vodka and 45% water. But so obviously when the moon is at its fullest, it affects the tides in the ocean. So of course it affects us and our moods. Haniel is also likened to female menstrual cycles. She's also about honoring your femininity. And again, guys, you can call on her too. Maybe she could help you find a real nice girl, because this is why the guys can call on her. She's also in charge of passion. Now, how many of you out there really live your life with passion? I'm not just talking about between the sheets. Passion for what you do. Passion for who you are. As I've mentioned before, I'm a recreation director in a nursing home, and I've been doing it for 20 plus years, and I love what I do. I love the elderly. I love planning parties. I'm loud as hell. I think I'm very well suited to this job, so I have passion for it. I love doing this TV show. I've received so many calls from so many viewers out there, and I can't thank you enough. It means the world to me that I'm getting the word out little at a time, and I've even been recognized twice. One I'm not sure counts because it was in a liquor store, and they kind of know me there anyway. But the guy did say, hey, and you're also on TV. And then, which is very random, I was in a Stop and Shop, and I was recognized. So, passion. There we go. Passion. And then, of course, passion for your love life. How many of you out there are in long-term relationships or marriage? Not me. But from what I know is that things can get a little stale, if you will. So imagine calling upon Haniel just to add a spark of passion in everything you do. And you know what? If you have a job that you don't like, change it. There's something out there that you're better suited for, clearly. If you're with somebody and you just feel nothing, even if you have kids and a mortgage and what will the family think, maybe sometimes take that chance. Maybe there's something even greater out there. So I'm going to show you now a picture of Haniel, this absolutely gorgeous angel. Look at that. Isn't that something? Again, apologize for the shaking of my hands. I'm going to need to eat pretty soon. Otherwise, you're going to see me collapse here. Wouldn't that be a fun episode? Okay. The next angel, lesser known than some of the more major archangels, is Raguel. Raguel has a lot of functions, but the one I really want to discuss with you, he is in charge of what they call divine order, you know, like the scales of justice. There is this thing that I don't bring up too much because I don't really know how to pronounce it. It's either the Akashic records or the Kashic records. And so supposedly there are many angels, and everything you do, you say, you think, you feel is all documented. How scary is that? Okay? So you really want to keep your thoughts good and pure and your actions good and pure. And don't let, as far as, worries and fears, don't let that creep into your brain. Try to do kindnesses to people, because the angels in particular, and I'll show you him in a minute, Raguel, they're copying all this down. Now, as a witch, we don't necessarily believe in heaven and hell. We look at it more like this is the school of hard knocks. This is where you come to learn lessons and try to perfect yourself. That doesn't mean perfection like the women on the covers of magazines who are airbrushed, by the way. Real women don't look like that. Just wanted to say that. Not somebody else's standard of perfection. You know, if your parents wanted you to go to school and become a doctor or marry a doctor and have, 2.5 kids, which I never understood. Is that like 2.5 kids, or is that like 2 kids and a dog that you consider a kid? All right, I got to stop before I get too far off, and then you can't get me back. So the point is that these angels, in particular Raguel, are in fact writing this stuff down. And then when you die, and we're all going to, you will be treated to a life review. And because of all these impeccable records that have been kept, you're going to see everything you did and every thought you had and every time you could have been nicer and didn't, and every time you could have done a kindness and didn't, or the time that you did do these kindnesses that were so random, as in random acts of kindness, or acts of random kindness, ARC. I got that from some movie, Evan Almighty. I wish I'd made that up, but I didn't. Or you'll look at your life and say, wow, I did okay. So here is Raguel. Again, divine order. This is what he's in charge of. And this is Raguel. You see the scales there? Divine order. Kind of like Santa Claus. He knows when you've been bad or good, so you better be good, for goodness sake. Okay, the last archangel that I want to talk about, had I done this alphabetically, should have been the first one I talk about, but you'll see in a minute why I saved him for the end. His name is Archangel Azrael, and he's known as the Angel of Death. I know, it's a little heavy, it's a little deep, but hear me out. His chief function is that when people die, and we're all going to, you've heard the stories where people say that they see the light. They go to the light. They're surrounded by the light. Well, Azrael is the light. And so, at the moment of death, whether you're in your bed, whether it's something more awful like a long-term illness, car accident, the atrocity of 9/11, each and every soul upon their last breath is scooped up by Archangel Azrael and taken over to the other side, where they will immediately meet their departed family members. They'll be in whatever they consider paradise to be, a cottage, a mansion, a concert, pretty much anything. Another function of Azrael is that he also then tends to those left behind, the grieving. This is, the trick of this is, and I've made the mistake myself, when you lose somebody, and you love them so much, and sometimes it's in a very bad way, or sometimes it's just the loss of the person. When your grief is so overwhelming, you can't see the fact that, that your loved ones are trying to come back and communicate with you. You can't feel Azrael's sense of comfort and warmth, like literally sort of wrapping you in his wings. So for those of you out there that have either had a recent loss, I know I did, and I probably should have opened the show with this, but me and a bunch of my friends lost my dear and beloved friend Tina Ambrosino about 2 weeks ago. Just a quick shout out to Tina. She was loved by so many. She worked in a nursing home. She was a recreation leader, did her job 1000%, even in the face of long-term cancer and in the face of some very mean people that should have been kinder to her. Not going to mention any names. I think my producer's just breathing a sigh of relief. Anyway, Tina will always be in our hearts, will always be loved. My point is this. At the moment of her death and everybody else's, just know that the soul is immediately taken care of by one of, heaven's most powerful and compassionate of the angels, and they're wrapped in the light that is Azrael, taken to the other side, and then he's going to come back and take care of all of you if you'll allow him. Allow yourself to feel his warmth, his compassion, his energy. And now I'm going to show you a picture of Azrael. Angel of Death, that's quite a title, huh? But now hopefully you have more of an understanding about his function and why he's called that. Okay? So those were the angels, and there's, like I said, there's so many millions of more angels. I, off the top of my head, am familiar, angels and witches, the relationship there is we would consider angels companions in magic. We look to them in terms of, in help with my mediumship, spell work, oh, you name it. Different divination tools. I'm always calling upon the angels. So I just gave you about 7 or 8 of them. Lost track now, or 9 or 10. But there are so many more, and I would like to suggest that you avail yourself to all the angels' help. Now, if we have a little bit of time, there is another card that I like very much. This comes from a deck by Dr. Doreen Virtue. You could buy her cards, her books, her tapes, usually in a local Barnes & Noble, or if you wanted to go out to pretty much the only new age store that I know about, it's in Rockville Center, and it used to be called Instant Karma. Now I think it's called A Time for Karma or something with Karma, and there you can find all kinds of books. You can find some fun witch products also, different candles, crystals, things from the Hindu goddesses, things from the Norse goddesses, everything. Take a trip out there. It's worth it. Okay, this is the picture that I want to hold up in a few minutes. When you ask for the angels' help, angels, God, universe, spirits, fairies, so many, don't want to leave anybody out, but it's very all-inclusive. Once you ask for their help, get out of the way and let them help. This is how I look at it. Let's just boil it down to something very basic. Let's say there's a job that you want, okay? So call upon the angels. Talk to them like you're talking to friends. I think I would be perfect for this job, and here's why. I have the right energy. I would love it. I would have passion for it, like I was telling you about Archangel Haniel. Appeal to them, and they will absolutely help. Don't keep going back and pestering. You'll be guided to do some of the legwork yourself to get the job. And the other hand, let the angels, forces of the universe, nature also take over. So this card is adorable. It says, accept heaven's help. And the little blurb under it says, you've prayed for help. So get out of the way and let heaven help you. You hear that? Get out of the way. Look at that. Isn't that nice? Okay, what this really all boils down to, whether we're talking about angels or the spells that I do, the potions, talking to the deceased, what it all boils down to is a matter of having faith. And it doesn't really matter who you have faith in, whether you like the angels, whether you like God, whether you like the goddesses, whether you like the fairies. Have faith. Okay? I'm going to be wrapping up this episode. I want to thank you very much for watching, for inviting me into your home. Please feel free to call if you'd like to have further discussion about this, or if there's anything I can help you with. Always there to help. So for angels, fairies, and witches, this is Michelle saying, have a blessed evening.